Let's take a look at one last example. Suppose we're given f at x is x squared minus 2x plus 1, and we'd like to evaluate and indicate on the graph what is meant by 3 or 4 different calculations. I'd like to look at the average rate of change over the interval from x equals 0 to x equals 2, and on this one I actually wrote out the notation. So if we were going from 0 to 2, we would do f at 2 minus f at 0 over 2 minus 0. So I would then have to go into my function and figure out what f at 2 is, and remember we do that just by substituting in 2. So we'd have 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 1, which I put in parentheses, and that'll become obvious why I did that in just a minute. Then I'm going to do f at 0, and that would be 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 1 over 2 minus 0, which I'll just write as 2. Now the reason I put those both in parentheses is I want to do this second computation completely out and then subtract the result. Parentheses, remember, are quite important to what we do. So if I do the math out here, I'm going to get 4 minus 4 plus 1, so that's going to give me 1. Subtract 0 minus 0 plus 1, that's going to give me 1 all over 2. I'm going to get 0 over 2, or 0. Well, what is that giving me? Well, remember, average rate of change equals the slope. So I'm getting the slope of a line that's joining 2 points. So what are the 2 points? Well, one of the points will be the point 0, comma, and the other point is going to be the point 2, comma. Well, what did we get when we substituted in 0? We got out 1. What did we get when we substituted in 2? We got 1. So we're going to get the slope of the line joining those 2 points. So if my graph is correct, I should have the point 0, 1, and I have the point 2, 1, and what that just gave me was the slope of that line. So the average rate of change I just computed would be the slope of that line. Now I want to do the same thing for the average rate of change between 2 and 5. So what I'm going to do is f at 2. No, I'm going to do it the other way. I could do it that way, but I want to do the upper one first. F at 5 minus f at 2 over 5 minus 2. Now I just did f at 2. F at 2 I actually learned was the number 1. Now to do f at 5, I want to do 5 squared minus 2 times 5 plus 1. So 25 minus 10 is 15, plus 1 is 16. So I'm going to get 16 minus 1 then over 3. That's 15 over 3, or 5. So I'm going to get a slope of 5. So that tells me that I'm going to be graphing again the slope of a line, and this one should have a positive slope. Now the question is, what 2 points? Well, my points are going to be 2, comma, and 5, comma. So let's see, it's 2, comma 1, and then it's going to be 5, comma 16. So if I go to 2, 1, and then let's see, 3, 4, 5, this must be 5, 16 if I counted that out. And so what I just computed was the slope of that line. So the average rate of change just told me that the slope of the line joining those 2 points is 5. Let's take a look at one more example. Average rate of change on the interval -3 to 1. So again, I'll do f at the larger minus f at the smaller divided by the larger minus the smaller. And again, it doesn't matter. I could do the subtraction in the opposite order. Denominator is going to give me 4. F at 1 will be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1. And f at negative 3 will be negative 3 squared minus 2 times negative 3 plus 1. So let's see, if I do the math, this is going to give me 1 minus 2 plus 1. That's going to give me 0. And here, negative 3 squared, be careful with your signs, is 9. Negative 2, negative 3 gives me plus 6 plus 1. So that's going to give me 16. So we get 0 minus 16 over 4. If I do that math out, that's going to give me negative 4. So this time I have a negative slope, so I should expect the line I draw to be a decreasing line. Now, where will that line be? Well, my points start with 1 and negative 3 as the input values. And let's see, when I used 1, I had out 0. When I used negative 3, I got 16. So let's see, 1, 0, yeah, that works. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 16, and we could double check that it does really give us 16. Connect the points, and what that answer tells me is the slope of that line is negative 4.